Greetings, this is Jeff from Enjoy Life Traveling. Today we are going to discuss the Royal Caribbean casino program, everything that's involved with a casino, not just about the free cruises, but all the different things that go into anything that's going on while you're on the ship. And I'm going to really start from the beginning. While some of it will be an overview of things in the past, some of this will be stuff that I've never talked about. And so it should be an opportunity for everybody to get something new. So here we go. So if you are on a Royal Caribbean ship and you are wanting to play in the casino, the first thing you want to know is that everybody, all adults, 18 or over, gets free play. Not always a lot, but it's random. It's between $2 and $100. And you find that out by going into the casino with your SeaPass card, and you will enter your birth month and birth date into the machine, and then from there you can change your passcode to something of 4 digits that means something to you and not necessarily to everybody else. But when you do that, you're going to end up working your way to the promotional screen and see what kind of free play that you have. So it may just be $2. It's completely random. A lot of them are $2, $4. I've got, $8, $12. Sometimes you get lucky and they're more, but it's out there and everybody gets it. Now you have to get this on your first 2 days of cruising. So go ahead and do that on free play. This is something that you have to play through whatever that dollar amount is. But if you win anything beyond that, so we'll just say that you got $2, you spin it once, and let's just say it was a $2 spin to make the math easy. And so the $2 is gone, but you win. And it doesn't matter how much it is, $1,000, $2,000, $2, doesn't matter. You can cash that out. If, I don't know, say you had $100, well, actually, no, let's go back to $2, make it simple. You put the $2 in, you bet $1, and you win whatever. You still have one more dollar to spend to get rid of the $2 they gave you. Now, anything you win or lose is yours to keep. But obviously you want to keep playing. Now, when you are doing the free spins, the free play, you do not gain points during that time period. However, once you have spun through that money that you've claimed for your promo, then you will start earning the points. So a lot of times what I will do is I will cash out once I know that I've got there. Some machines, you can do this on land casinos too. Some of them will have a color difference when you're doing the free play versus if you're doing your own money. A lot of times I'll just look and see what I've got going on as far as the points. So when it starts out at 0 points, I know once I get a point that I've spun through not only the money but a total of $5 there. So just in case you lose track, if you realize you're gaining points, then you know that you have went through whatever free play that you have been given. Now, you can get more than that if you've gotten something through the ship. If it's an instant cruise certificate, which we will get into, you could have more than that that'll be added on there. It could be in hundreds, several hundreds. But again, this is just if you're brand new and you don't know, make sure you at least get your $2 and spin through it. Why not? So if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you play in the casino. Make sure you get your free money, and don't forget. Now, if you have any problems with trying to get any of your free play there, just go to the casino host and let them know you don't want to go to the cashier desk. You will want to go to the casino host. And again, they are there to help you. I would highly suggest getting to know the casino host. When it comes to getting your stuff, first of all, they know, particularly if you've booked the cruise as a comped cruise, they know who you are. They are aware. They get a list of all the players that are there, that are their players that of any loyalty status. And so every cruise, they have that before you ever get on. They're going to know who you are and have some working knowledge of how you play, or at least have it available to them. Now, there are several things that go on a cruise ship that are opportunities to get money. And this is one I don't believe anyway I can recall talking about. And this is called the Snowball raffle. It's often done at night, a lot of times about 10 o'clock or so. You do need to be present to win. and you need to have already earned 100 points on your CPass card, so it does have to be in there. You can't be playing without it. Some people get nervous when it comes to putting their card in. I see this on land-based casinos too. Don't do that. You're hurting yourself. Nobody's doing anything with that information. You need to go ahead and take advantage of all the perks that come with having your card in and earn those points. So make sure that you do that. Now that Snowball raffle, that's going to be good for, if you win that, it's $100. And again, this is something that I've won more than once. So it is definitely recommended. You have to be there. They're going to call your name out. It's not one of those to where, you can sit at the machine and they come to you. We will get to that type of promo. This one isn't it. If you're somewhere else, I mean, you've only got, I think, like 90 seconds, I want to say. You don't have long. So if you have left and you got somebody in the casino and you're trying to, watch a show, and if you get a text, you're going to try to run to the casino, there's a fair chance that you're not going to make it because, again, they're not going to wait. Most of the time, they also will not redraw a name. They will just move on. So keep that in mind. So when you're playing, make sure that you are there and present. And I realize that can be a little bit of an inconvenience with some of the shows and getting across the ship, particularly the big ships. But if you're a casino player like I am, you're going to really want to make every effort to get all the different free money opportunities that you can get. And there's more than this. Now, when they are getting that, this is a completely random thing here. The casino host will go to their computer. The computer will spit out a random name. They can't just, pick somebody that's been nice to them or something like that. It's completely random, so don't worry about any favoritism. Don't bother trying to suck up thinking it's going to do you better. It's completely random for the obvious reasons. Now, if you're wondering where you can find some of the different information, you see this video, there's some things out there, but then, when you get on the ship, you can't remember. I get that. A lot of times, first of all, it's going to be on the Royal Caribbean app, but also I would highly recommend that you go to the casino host and sometimes the cashier and get what is known as the player's edge. A lot of times, if you are playing in the casino, when you get to your cabin day one, they'll already have one of those in there for you. So if you don't have one, that's when you're going to need to do that. If you're a player, it's probably going to be in there for you. Probably already have your name on it, specific to you. And when you are if you've never played before, as soon as you put your card in, you create it'll create an account for you. When you put your birth date and all that in, it's going to create that account for you so you can start playing and earning the points. You do not want to change any of your stuff. There are occasions when something will go a little sideways for you. I've had it to where it created a separate account for me, and it wasn't anything that I did. It did the same thing for my wife. I'm not really sure why or what happened, but we called and got it corrected. But it makes a big difference as far as your offers go. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on what you've done. But the accumulation won't happen. It'll create a separate one. You'll have to get that fixed, and it is a little bit of a pain. Now, that player's edge is going to really have all the necessary stuff that you're going to need, or at least most of it. It'll have the breakdown of the different levels of when you start out and you're first playing, you're a choice player, and then you become prime after 2,500 points. That gets you some perks there as far as the free drinks and a free cruise. And there's all kinds of different free cruise opportunities, and I'll try to at least touch on them if you haven't seen them in the other video. But again, you got to start somewhere, and that player's edge is a good place to look, particularly if you're not familiar. So another promotion that you're going to want to be aware of, as far as when I've noticed, it's always happened at about 11 p.m., so it's a little bit later, and that's called the hot seat promotion. The hot seat promotion is the one to where at 11 o'clock they're going to announce a name, and it'll be someone who is active in the casino. That means that you're not just standing in the casino and they call your name. Your card has to be in and validated, and you have to have been playing. So not just sticking your card in and hoping for the best. I see people that try to do that, and I've never seen anybody win from it. But again, this is based on being an active player. Now, I've done this to where it was 5 minutes beforehand, and I've won. So I would tell you that if this is something that you're interested in, go ahead, and even if you're not sure you want to play anymore, maybe you already played earlier that day, put your card in. Again, I'm always talking about betting the minimum, and bet the minimum and bet it, hit the thing 2-3 times, wait a little bit. Sometimes you get in early or the names are drawn late. And so just play through a few spins, betting slow, little gaps in between there, just to show that your card's in there. And during that time, there's been some spinning going on. Doesn't have to be a lot of spinning, just has to be spinning. That's why I say about being, playing that low and slow way. And take a drink of your cocktail there, and talk, and just occasionally spin. So that's being active. So usually the first tier, that 11 o'clock one, is, I believe, $50. And every 15 minutes, they will increase that. So I believe it's 50, 75, 100. That would be obviously at 11:30, and then 125 at 11:45, and then at midnight is the last drawing, and that is $450. As far as I know, you can win it more than once. I've never seen anybody win it more than once, but I have asked the question, and the casino host said, yeah, as far as I know, it's a completely random thing, and it doesn't kick anybody out because you've won before. They couldn't necessarily recall somebody winning twice, but obviously the casino is usually busier at that time, so just winning it once is nice. I can't imagine it happened too often to be lucky enough to be pulled out again when there's 300 people or whatever in that small casino. But winning it is fun, I'll tell you that. Now that'll come in the form of, you'll get a little slip that they'll bring to you. They come right to the machine that you're at. You don't move. It knows what machine number you're on, and so yeah, just stay put. You'll be able to take that to the cashier. The cashier will go ahead and add that to your CPass card as free play, and then basically the same way that you would get your points, that free play points when you first arrive that I talked about at $2 to $100. It's basically the same thing. So you will go ahead and load that into the machine, and you can play that through. You don't necessarily have to play it all on one machine. Most of the time you can load certain dollar amounts and then go back. So I don't know, let's just say you won $150 and you want to just do 50 on the machine, which is something I do frequently. I'll pick 50 or whatever the number is and put that on there and play through it. And then whatever's left, again, that's cashed through. I can have that money to cash out, even though I've got free play still in there. Now, once I load the next 50 in, I have to play through that 50, and then that money that after that point would be mine. Again, when you're going through their money, you're not going to be gaining points. But again, once that is through, any money that you have that you've won, you can continue to play and you'll continue to get points. Now, like the other promotion, you do have to have at least 100 points. And a lot of times you get a better chance the more points that you have. But you have to be at least 100 points to be able to have a chance to win that. So another thing I want to talk about is, because I keep talking about the points, I want to explain what the heck I'm talking about there. And that is, for every $5 that you spin through, you earn 1 point. And so with that, and I'm talking about playing on slot machines at this point. If you do video poker, it's going to be different. On video poker, blackjack, those kind of video games like that, it's every $10 that you play through. And that's because those are less volatile and there's some skill involved. So you playing those games there, playing the right cards, makes a difference as to how you're gonna fare. I've seen people say, oh, that's the way to go. If you want to earn it, that's the easiest way to do it because that's the lowest possible volatility. That's only partially true. If you know what you're doing, it's the lowest possible volatility. It's going to take you obviously longer because it takes, $10 to earn 1 point rather than $5 to earn 1 point. But again, you need to understand how that works, and your own skill level is going to make a huge difference as to whether that's worth your time or not. So when you are earning points, you're earning them towards different things in how the casino works. Again, if you've seen some of my other videos, you may have a little bit of an idea as to what I'm going to go through here. But I do want to make sure that it is covered, and if I've missed anything, that I can attach it onto this. So when you are playing, again, whichever the games, and by the way, table games count. that is going to be different. It's going to be based on the time that you're playing. It's going to be based on the dollar amount. And this is something that the casino pit boss, whoever's running it, not necessarily the dealer, but the people that are in there watching, they are going to be the ones monitoring what you're doing. If you're jumping around the tables back and forth, it's going to be harder to get recognized. And so I would highly recommend that if you are a table player, that you spend some time at the table. And I would also make sure that you get to know the people and be kind to the people. There's since there is, they're making the decision as to what you're going through, at how much you're playing, and it's a little more subjective. So if they want, and I'm not saying anybody does this, I mean, I can't claim obviously that, but there's that old catching flies with honey versus vinegar kind of a thing. If you are kind, they're going to remember you. And if you put yourself out there to where you're introducing yourself, they're going to remember the good things, and they're going to pay more attention to what's going on. And you're going to see probably better numbers as to what you've done versus if you're kind of a jerk. And first of all, that's not the way to be. I mean, you're on vacation. People should be kind anyway. That's my sidebar on that. Be kind. But that's a huge deal. So make sure that these people, you're treating them like people. They're not just this, peon. This is someone that has this job, and they're there trying to make your life good. And I would tell you that would go the same thing for the dealer. The dealer may not be the one making the decision, but those people see how you react or interact with those dealers. It makes a difference. I'm a believer in tipping, and so obviously the same thing can go with that. If you are tipping the dealer, if you are placing bets, you see this sometimes. People will place a side bet for the dealer. So if that card hits, if the player wins, the side bet will also allow the dealer to win whatever amount there. Those are little things that you can do that is greatly appreciated and noticed by the staff. So make sure that you take the time to get to know the people, be kind to the people, create relationships. It's much like real life. Not that casino isn't real life, but you should know if you're in business, relationships are a huge part of it. If you're in sales, relationships are a huge part of it. If you've been running a business, politics, all that kind of stuff, relationships are important. And they're still important here. Don't dismiss them. Enough said. Now, what you're going to be trying to do on that cruise, there's 3 different ways to earn cruises. The one I'm going to talk about right now is called an instant cruise certificate. An instant cruise certificate is based on the points that you have earned on the specific sailing that you're on from beginning to end. It's a cumulative thing there. If you don't know where you're at, a lot of times you can go to a machine and see it, but obviously if you play table games, it's a little harder. So I would tell you to get with the casino host. They can give you an update as to where you are at on that, so you know what you're playing for. And because you're playing the table games, it may be a little bit more of a lag, whereas if you're playing machines, it's instant, it's automatic. And I talked about playing the table games. They do have on some ships the video Texas Hold'em and stuff like that. So those are going to play different as far as your points go. And I'm not familiar enough with it. I don't want to speak on that, but I do want to let you know that don't necessarily expect that there's not going to be a pit boss. There's not even cards. It's just a table where the cards come up. So keep that in mind. Now, when you are working towards those instant cruise certificates, these can be anything from a certificate to money off of a cruise, to free cruises that are for one and you pay for a second person with a discount. They could be a free cruise for 2 in an interior cabin. It could be for an ocean view cabin. It could be for a balcony. It could be for a junior suite. This is going to be based on the tiers that you're playing and how much you're playing. So most of what I do, and I talk about it all the time, playing low, playing slow, and enjoying yourself, taking it all in. I get some balcony offers, if I've been playing for quite a bit, like when I went, overseas, it was quite intentional that we played more in the casino, and 12 nights we did. So I started seeing some balcony offers, but most of the time, most of what I do is the interior cabins. this is a little bit of a sidebar here. Yes, you can upgrade, but I'm telling you that whatever you earn is probably going to what you want to keep, because when you're trying to upgrade, I'm just telling you, it's not like where you see it online if you're paying cash. And I don't know, let's just say you got an interior, and just for the sake of simple math, let's say it's $500 a person, and an ocean view is $600 a person. And so you think, well, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll just get my free cruise that was set up here as an ocean view, and be $100 more per person, and I'll get, that upgrade because I want that, or I want a balcony, or whatever the number is. Every time that I've looked into it, it's been exorbitant. It's been over the top more than what you would think it would be. So it's not relatable to what you see online as a cash payer. It's separate. So keep that in mind. If you're someone that absolutely has to have a balcony, but you don't want to play, the big money, this may not be the thing for you. It might just be cheaper to go ahead and buy the balcony if you're just trying to get, like I do, and get 1,200 points or 1,500 points. Because balconies, you're going to need to be more than that 3,000 on up range to get that consideration. Generally speaking, it does matter per sailing as to what you got going on there. Those points offers, again, there's a sheet to see what they're going to do, and it will change for the ship that you're on, for the type of sailing, for the month, really more than anything else. But it'll tell you at each point level generally what you're going to get as far as the cabin goes, the type of offer, and sometimes there'll be free play. And as you get certain tier levels, you may go up on that. This is important to keep in track of, because if you're sitting at 3,900 points on the last day of the cruise and you think you're done because you've got your free cruise, that's significant, the difference between 3,900 points and 4,000 points. If you're hitting 4,000 points, you're going to get some balcony offers. At 3,000, you're going to get less. So, and different cruises. So every time you see a tier, and there's a barcode, or a QR code, I should say, that you can scan, and it's different for each month. You scan that, and it'll show you different tiers as to what you get. So if you're looking at the 3,000 points as an example, when you see those cruises and you think, well, 4,000, well, I don't care. There's no cruises I want. 4,000 is just going to be a better room, but I don't like any of those cruises. That's not the way that works. There could be more cruises on there that fit your needs than what's at 3,000 points. So it's important to keep in mind. And you may have seen that video I put out probably 6 months ago, to where I was on the ship and talking with a couple that was familiar with the channel. And I was telling them, we'll make sure you watch your points because it makes a difference. And I realize it can get confusing even watching some of the videos as to maybe some assumptions that get made as to what they think I was trying to say on it. And what I'm wanting to try to clear up as much as possible is that those tiers, as you go up, and it starts, well, it can be 400 points, 600 points, 800 points. But when you get to the 2,000 and 3,000, there really is some huge differences here. So you got to know where you're at. And it can be the difference in a cruise that wasn't available versus was, or it could be the difference in upgrading from an interior or an ocean view to a balcony or junior suite or whatever level that you're playing at. It also makes a big difference as far as the free play that you're going to get offered. I mean, if you're at 3,000 points, I think you get 2,500. I wish. $250. When you're at 4,000 points, you get 500. So if you're at 3,900 and you've got 100 points to go, or anything even close to that, the difference on what you're taking is $250 more in free play on that cruise that you select. That's a big deal. It's probably going to be worth playing a little more, spending a little bit more money, even if you're losing a bit, to get those few points that are needed to get the extra $250 that you would have been missing out had you not been paying attention there. So again, I want to be as clear as I can. The QR code, even if you don't have internet, you can scan that code on your camera and it will take you to the link. There'll be enough feed just through what's offered on the Royal Caribbean app to let you see what's available. And when you get your certificate, make absolutely sure that you go to next cruise and you put that on there, because that free play that I'm talking about, that will go away if you do not set up the next cruise and book that cruise within 30 days of getting off the ship. You do not need to do this while you're on the ship. You can do this when you're at home, when you've got a clear head, not trying to rush things through. And if you're trying to book stuff a lot of times through the next cruise people, well, first of all, they don't do much of that. But regardless, when you're booking cruises, even through next cruise, they just look at the criteria that you tell them and they match it up. And for me, there'll be circumstances that can go around that will make a difference as to which one I pick. So I realize that may sound a little vague, but we'll just say, like, if you're paying for a cruise, if I give them, a range that I'm looking for, and they say, okay, well, this is the cruise and the time frames that you set, but I'm flexible, they've picked something for me. Whereas if I'm at home, I might see something there that is a different date than maybe what I was originally planning, but I'm thinking, well, that does actually work, and the offer's much better, or has better port stops, or something more in tune with what I wanted. So make sure that you understand the program. That's what this video is about, is letting you guys understand the program so you get the maximum out of what you're betting. I want to be clear. When you get in those points for an instant cruise certificate, you cannot just book any cruise that you want. You have to book one of the cruises that are available. The select sailings is how they word it. They pick. You might have specific dates that you can only go and know what you want to do, but that doesn't mean that it's available to you. So make sure that you understand that you can't just book any sailing that you want. They will have sometimes trade-in value, and the trade-in value may help you pay for the one you want versus the one that's free. But I can tell you, if you do any digging into it, it's nowhere near the value of if you pick something that's on their list. There's a huge difference there. So please understand that. Now, I talked about the next cruise, and I want to go back to that just real quick. Besides going to the next cruise desk, you can go to the casino host desk. They're going to have what you need there. They're going to have that form for you that you can just hand fill out and drop it in there. They will charge your account before you leave, or, well, actually kind of as you're leaving, as you're getting off, that account's going to get charged. So you do want to make sure that there's enough money on it. And what they're going to charge is the $200 deposit. Now, I realize when I say $200 deposit, you're going, well, I thought I just got a free cruise. Yes, but there you have to have a little skin in the game there. So the $200 isn't going to buy the cruise. What they're going to do is when you get the cruise, that money is going to be used for your port fees and taxes. So it isn't that you're paying for the cruise. It's that the money has to be there to hold it, that for what you're wanting, that you're serious about it. And as you can imagine with the free cruise, and they've had the problems and they've reeled it back a bit, is that when people get something for free, a lot of times they'll cancel. They'll just don't want to do it. And so for the cruise, they're missing out on revenue. So if you are doing that, what they're starting to do now is that that deposit, you're not getting it back. That you're out. So make sure that when you're doing now, don't get me wrong, you can still cancel a cruise. I'm just saying you can't just drop it last minute and go, well, I'm done with this, because the next time you go to do it, they're gonna flag that and realize that you're not necessarily reliable. Yes, there's certain circumstances, and there is maybe a little bit of leeway there, But if this becomes like I do, I cruise a lot. If this is a repeat thing, it's going to be different. When you are just basically disrespecting them as far as not showing up to cruises and they're losing money, they're going to make sure the next time around that you're not going to take advantage of them, that they've got a little bit of money to show for what's happened. Now, the instant cruise certificate usually will be in your room on the last day. But if you're working up those points, make sure that you stop by the casino desk and they'll print the form out for you so you get the proper code for what you've earned. So if you've went from and I've done this on the last day, and you've got a code set out and it's for, I don't know, say it would get you, say it's a higher dollar amount. Say it gets you, you just went from 250 free play to a different list of cruises and $500 free play. If you give them the code when you call online in the next month, that code, that piece of paper says on it that you have the 250. You got to get that code. It is different. Now, it didn't used to be. There was a point where it just did it automatically, but the last cruise I was on, I was asking about it, and they said, no, you absolutely need to come back and get a different one on there. It'll be a different code. So keep that in mind. That was per the casino host on Explorer of the Seas back in May. To give you an idea as to what I'm talking about. Now, just real quickly, back to that next cruise. This is something that can be done on your phone. So if you win this, then you'll want to go in there and you can do the same thing on your phone and put the information in there. If you have any problems with that, don't just get off the ship and decide you're going to call somebody. Once you're off that ship, you're off the ship, and you are going to miss out if you do not do what you need to do. And calling in, I'm telling you from experience, I've talked to so many people, they are not overly forgiving when this happens. So if you get off that ship and you haven't done your proper stuff, don't expect that to be honored. And it may be frustrating for you, but you got to do your part. They've told you they've told you what the rules are. It's all out there with the Players Host Edge, all the Players Edge, and all the stuff that's out there. They're telling you what you need to do. So if you don't do it, then that's on you. So again, with the Instant Cruise Certificate, this is going to be completely based on your activity in the casino on that sailing. As far as the points go, with the end of that and the next cruise, Instant Cruise Certificate, everything your next cruise is, you'll accumulate the points. They'll move from one to the next as far as what you've accumulated. But as far as when you start that next time through there to earn a cruise certificate, you're starting at 0 from that regard. So I hope I'm as clear as I can be on that. So I say that, so let's just say, just for the quick math, we'll do that you're going to sail twice. And the first cruise you've gotten 2,000 points. Doesn't really matter. 1,000 points. Doesn't matter. But you want to get to prime because, and we'll get to some of the different statuses, there's perks with that. On that second cruise, you'll be able to keep whatever points you've earned, whether 1,000, 2,000, but you got to get to 2,500 to get to having that prime status. That is a firm 2,500. That is not 2,490 points and you're pretty sure that you had it and you try to call them and you're telling them, hey, I'd have played that. It's not going to work. Make sure that you know where your points are. You verify that with a casino host, and he will know. As long as your card's out of the machine, they're going to know. If you got the card in your machine, say your spouse is playing on your card to try to rack up some money, or some points, I should say, and you go to the casino host, they're going to ask for your card. They'll tell you the points, like, that ain't right. Well, if the card's in the machine, it hasn't, until that card leaves the machine, it is not going to update to them to know what you've added on to. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. So moving on to status. Status we talked about. Start with choice. Next thing is prime. They've got their own perks for that. Most of them, the prime will also get you a separate cruise. So even though you may have earned that Instant Cruise Certificate, even if it was on the same cruise, when you hit prime, that's a yearly cruise certificate. You're going to get the code for that the following year's mid-April. And that is going to be good for a free cruise, 7 nights or less. And for the most part, it's going to be wide open. There'll be a few blackouts on there that will be, sometimes if it's a brand new ship, those will have a blackout often, or holiday cruises can be blacked out. People wanting to go over Christmas and such like that. Those are busier. Those are more expensive cruises. Sometimes even like in the summer when the kids are out of school, those can make a difference. So there are some limitations in that regard. And the other thing that you need to know with these free cruises, any of the free cruises, is just because there are cabins available doesn't mean that there are free cabins available. There's only a certain amount of free cruises that they're going to allow one ship to have going on it. And so sometimes you can get away with it. Say that you've got an ocean view and you call and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, there's no ocean view available on that. Can you pick another cruise? And that was really the one that you needed. There may be a chance to downgrade that to an ocean view or an interior so you can take the cruise that you want. I realize that some people that's horrible because they need the balcony, but the problem is, again, there's only so many that you can give away. And because of what happened back in 2020 with COVID and some of the things they put out as far as some of the promos to try to keep people going, double points and such, more people are getting status than ever before. And so they've got that's more towards the end of that's more towards the loyalty programs for the ship, which is completely separate than what's in the casino. But they have more and more people that have reached status through either one of the programs there. Now, after Prime, and again, there's a whole list of perks I'll try to get up there for you. After Prime is Signature. Now, Prime's 2,500 points. Signature is 2,500 points. Yes, there's better perks, but that is not, generally speaking, a move unless you're just super close that you want to just go ahead and play for to get. Because when you're Prime, you're going to get 30% off of the internet, and you can do that on board. Don't book that. I mean, just if you see the sales going on, you're welcome to do those. Obviously, if they're more, but you can do this on the ship. And so with Prime, again, the big deal is going to be the internet, the free cruise, the free alcohol in the casino. But with the Signature, you've got free internet for the cruise for one device. That's not, money-wise, that's not worth playing for unless you're just so close that it's worth it to you. So, and if you cruise a lot, that might be something, because to have that for all your sailings for that period, okay. But if you really don't, if you're only a few times a year that you're going to cruise, it's probably not worth it. And then when you get to Signature, it's 100,000 points. Well, 100,000 points, I mean, you're not betting like I'm betting here. You may not be watching the videos that I'm doing if you're getting masters on these things. You probably know all this stuff, plus some, because they have a whole different set of perks for them that cover embarkation perks and all that kind of stuff. So be mindful of it. Again, I'll try to put up a graphic here if I can find one to do for you. But if not, again, when you're on the ship, that's going to be on there. That should be there on that Player's Edge I told you about, so you can see all that. And it's available online too. I feel like I'm forgetting promotions. Another one they'll do on the ship is they'll call it's bags of cash, or I've seen it done with like cases of cash, and there'll be 3 different cases there, and one will have, I think, 50 in it, the other one's 150, and the other one's 250. And it's kind of like that Deal or No Deal without making a deal, that it's in there and you get a case. So whoever's name is called first, you have to be in the casino. Whoever's name is called first gets to pick first. Whoever's called second gets to pick second. Whoever's called third gets to go third. And on this one here, if they don't get your name called, they will move on to the next one. You've only got, I think, 90 seconds to get to be noticed, or let somebody in the casino know that it's you, that you're there. So you do have to be present when that happens. And so make sure you've got that. I don't even think on that one, I don't know that you even have to be necessarily active on the machines, but I do know for sure you need to be in the casino and have your name called there. And that is also based on having some points, the 100 points at least. And that goes up as you've gotten more points. Hopefully you have. So again, you'll have the cases are closed. You'll pick. Just because you pick first, all it does is mean you pick the first case. You don't know what's in there, so it doesn't really matter if you pick first, second, or third. So whoever gets the case that is 250 won the biggest prize, obviously. The other people still get theirs, and that will be, even though there'll be a certificate in there, you'll take that to the cashier desk, and they will go ahead and set your card up to where you have that free play to work through. That free play works through just like I was saying before, to where you will go through on the pen pad there and you'll pick that promotional money and put that on your SeatPass card and play through that before you earn any more points. And then again, you get to keep that money if once you've played it through anything that you've won or anything that's left, I should say, if you didn't win. So I'm trying to make sure I got everything I can think of on this. I've talked about the instant cruise certificate. That is a completely separate thing from the free Prime cruise, or if you go up. If you earn Prime and then you go on to earn Signature or Masters, that's not 3 new cruises. It's 1 cruise with an upgrade as far as the cabin type that's available. So on a Prime cruise, it's going to be an interior cabin, whereas if you go up to those higher ones, Masters or whatever, I think that is that you're probably talking a suite at that point, if I recall correctly. I think it's a balcony for the next tier up for the Signature. So that's available. So those are the 2 ways of earning different free cruises. The other one is based on not just the points, but also being active over time in the casino. So, and that's why I say having that card in there when you're playing, keeping it in there, even if you're wanting to bet slow. That yes, it's strongly based on points, but they also want to know that you are in the casino and playing for a long period of time. Why? Because the longer you're in there, the better chance that you're going to lose. Even if you've won, if you stay in the casino long enough, there's a great chance you're going to start losing it. So, and that goes really down to betting. You can't really control the machines. You can control yourself as far as how much you're going to bet, staying in budget. I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, as far as knowing, when you're going to stop, what your limits are, and you hold to those. If I win, a lot of times I will use that, since I play for points, rather I'm trying to play for jackpots. I will usually play more to get the points up higher, to show a higher pay rate, because that will help on the email offers, as they call them. You're going to see those on the Royal Caribbean. Let me back that up. You're going to see those on the clubroyaleoffers.com site, all these different things I'm talking about here. And I think I've got like 16 cruises that I could take now. No, that's available for me to take now, that I might be able to get 1 or 2 more in, because I've already got I got 6 cruises in September and 3 more already in November. And I know I've got something in January. I know I've got something at the end of February. I know I've got something in April, another transatlantic. So there's only so much time that you can go through. And even free cruises are not completely free, because you still have to pay port fees and taxes. Like I said, the deposit's still there. When you're doing the other certificates for free cruises that you haven't put a deposit down on, you will still have to pay the port fees and taxes on those. If you're going to buy any of the extras, the excursions, or drink packages that you're needing, those packages are all going to be in addition to the free cruise. It's not just automatically included. So free, yes, not completely free to you. The cruise line just gives you what they have free, which is the cruise. A lot of my expense is in, I'm in Missouri, getting from Missouri to whichever state that I'm going to sail out of. And again, you always want to go down the day before, unless you're just from that state and a few hours away. You want to go the day before, so there's a hotel that's involved, and probably a little bit of food, depending on what time you get in. And if you know me, a lot of times I want my vacation to last as long as possible, so I will get there early, even a lot of times before the hotel will allow me to. And if the hotel will allow it, I'll just drop off my bags and go into a resort, or if the hotel has it, to where I can just jump right in and do that. I want to take full advantage of it. So a little extra something to keep in mind there. Something that I do, I certainly recommend. So just a few other quick things I wanted to cover. All these certificates that I'm talking about, those are for you. So if you are on a cruise and you've earned this, and you want to take a friend, that a lot of them will have a cruise for 2. Not all of them do, but let's just say you do. Your friend can use that if it's a cruise for 2, or your spouse. So that person is now covered, but they still have to pay port fees and taxes. They still have to pay any of the extra stuff that might be on there if they're wanting drink packages and such, all the normal stuff. If you paid for the cruise would be the same even if you got the free cruise there. So something to keep in mind. Also, not always can you take a promo that is currently going on and try to lop it onto a free cruise. So I've seen this one out there as far as like the kids sail free, and it seems like sometimes they'll allow that and sometimes they won't. I would imagine that's probably based more, and again, I'm saying probably quite reasonably because it changes, and I'm not 100% sure. When you see this, all of this could change. They change this stuff. So you got to use what you can now and then, verify anything that's out there, because I could put this video out today and it might be 2 years from now, it might be 1 year from now. It could be tomorrow they make a change. There's nothing I can do about that. The video's out there. And so it'll just go on. I'll certainly try to put an update out as soon as I can, but keep that in mind that there is some work on your part to make sure that you've got the most current information. So if there's a particular aspect that you're looking at that you remembered that you want to go for, talk to the casino host when you get on there. Make sure that you understand it correctly. They will let you know how it's going and what you need there. I realized as I was editing this that I needed to add a little bit more. And the one thing I wanted to make sure that I left you guys with is that when you get all your points at the end of that cruise, you can go ahead and cash those in for either free play, or you can actually use that to buy things on the ship. So at whatever point that you're wanting to use it, you can use it as part to pay for dining, to pay for excursions, however you want to use it. But if you don't use it, you lose it. It's just gone. You get off the ship, it's too late. It will not affect your cumulative points as far as trying to get free cruises, getting prime status, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff stays intact, so make absolutely sure you do cash that out. That is your money, and you will lose it if you do not get in there and use it. One of the things I also wanted to add here is that, when you are doing the different tournaments, first of all, there are tournaments. If you are a table player, there's going to be, your poker tournaments and such like that. And as far as tournaments goes, there's going to be slot tournaments as well. But what you need to know is that when you do those tournaments, you're not going to gain points. It has nothing to do with any of that. So when you're playing those and thinking that you're going to get a few points, you're not. And the other thing is if it's hosted by just someone on the ship, sometimes Facebook will put something together, one of the people that's on the ship with you. Whoever's card is in it is the one that's going to get the points. So I wouldn't worry about that too much if you're playing and thinking you want that. It's only if you put in $20, it's only going to be 4 points that you're talking about there. But also more importantly is if you're putting these together, there's some risk involved, because if someone hits it and wants to get shady with it, it could have everybody kind of looking at you a little funny when you didn't do anything, or if you did. And the other thing is that if you're the one that's organized this, I know I mentioned as far as what the pro slot players do, but if someone's embezzling money and maybe you got $100 slot tournament going on, they hand you a bad bill, and someone's watching, you're a part of that. Now, granted, it's probably not going to hit you hard, but the hassle that you're going to have to go through to prove that is probably not going to be worth it. So I wanted to put that out there so you had that bit of information, and well, there you go. I think that I've covered everything that I can on this subject. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments. And I know you know this already, but it makes a huge difference here if you take the time to like the video, give it that thumbs up. If you are subscribed, obviously that's a big deal there. If you're commenting, that's a huge deal there. When talking about YouTube, when they see that people are liking the video, they think, okay, we'll send it to more people and see what they think about the video. So even if you watch these all the time and you do it, please continue to do that. If you're on a TV screen, like on mine, a smart screen, and you're going, well, I'm not on a computer. If you just, on mine, I just push up and then it'll give me some options and I can either save the video, but at that point I can subscribe on the channel. I can like it on that channel. So those things are out there for you. If you have any questions, again, let me know, because it does mean a ton to the channel here. And we're trying to grow and make this something that'll be I mean, I've put a lot of time and effort into this. I want it to be something that hopefully down the road will be worthwhile. I'm always trying to give the content that's worthwhile to you guys, and so hopefully in return somewhere down the road this will work out to where it's maybe I can make a little bit on this as well, doing these YouTube, because I'm not quite there yet for what I put out. So again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.